He's been trapped in his own mind, but it don't matter. He's got more time for the lover to arrive. If he's still alive, he could be revived, but he's dead inside. And he said it's fine, what a lovely lie. Then he left and said goodnight. Whoa, 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 whoa. That man's wonderland.
Alright, what is up guys, Action Figure Addict 112 here, and we are going to be taking a look at the Mezco 1/12 scale Logan figure, or as some people call him, the Cowboy Logan figure, but I call him the Yeehaw Logan. So this review is for Zorpox. He's been waiting for this one for a while, so I'm sorry about the delay, Zorpox, but yeah, without further ado, we're going to jump into this because this is my first time reviewing a Mezco figure, even though this is my third, technically this is my fourth, but I sold my first Mezco figure, so technically this is my third in my collection. So yeah, and I got a lot to say about him. So without further ado, let's get into this review. Okay, so we are going to talk about Logan's paint and his sculpt. So in terms of his paint, there's paint on the belt buckle, there's paint on the belt, the straps for the jeans are painted, or I guess the loopholes, the loophole for the belt to go through is also painted. You also have some painting on the chest for the chest hair and the boots. So, and then on the face and the hat, but I'm gonna have to go one at a time because this is a different style of figure that I'm not really used to reviewing. So as you can see, that's really nicely painted. The belt has a real nice leathery texture to it. I don't know if it's because of the sculpt or because of the paint. The boots are really nicely painted too. They have like a black wash over it, and well, when I get to the sculpting I'll talk about that. The bottom of the boots are painted nicely too. The arms have like a dry brushing to them to bring out the hairy arm detail, or I guess the detail of the hair on the arms, and then you can kind of see a little bit on the chest, but it's not gonna really be great because of the way that Mezco does their soft goods. But as you can see there, he does have chest hair, so there is that. So that's pretty nice. The little belt, like I said, the belt loops are also really nicely done too, so I like that. And of course the face is really nicely painted too. The eyes look really good. It's kind of hard to see because of the way that the hat is set up, but I'm gonna try to do the best that I can with this. And I probably need to move in closer. But as you can see, the eyes are really nicely painted. There's like some little bit of paint there to give him like a 5 o'clock shadow underneath his chin. The mutton chops are really nicely painted too, as well as the rest of the hair, and then the cowboy hat itself is really nicely painted as well. So overall, really nicely done. And now in terms of the sculpting, that's on a whole nother different thing. I love the way that they did the leathery texture for the belt. It's nice. The belt buckle is really cool too because it has the little longhorns on there and the little etched in designs or engraved designs. The chest hair, or the I believe the arm hair and the chest hair is also sculpted. Yeah. Yeah, it's all sculpted too, because you can see it's, if I lean it this way, you can see that it's raised up. So that's really nicely done with that, because you know Logan's got some hairy ass arms. The face is really nicely detailed too, because you can see he's kind of aging. And he's got some wrinkles in his face. They're like not super like old man wrinkles, but you can see he's slightly aged. So he's not, you know, the spring chicken that, you know, we've seen in the comics. He's kind of aging, which is cool. Like he's slowly aging. The boots, I love these cowboy boots. These are dope. Being from Texas, I'm very used to cowboy boots. I don't own a pair, but I have seen them around quite a few times. And those are really nicely done. I mean, they go all the way up to there. They're all really nicely detailed. You got the straps, all the stitching, the wrinkles. It's just really nicely done on Mezco's part. So good job, Mezco, on the sculpting part. Now trying to get the pants down to cover that up is a whole nother thing. And you kind of got to fight it. Hang on 1 second. Gotta kind of, there we go. Kind of got to fight it. So yeah, besides that, really nicely detailed. I do like the texture on the hat. I almost forgot to mention that. Texture on the hat is really nice too. It feels like it's snakeskin. Like a snakeskin texture, like scaly. Which is cool, and it's got some little engraved detail on there too. And it's got like a little longhorn. Let me try to show this. Yeah, it's got like a little longhorn on the top to match the belt, so I like that. And because, you know, these are Mezcos, you're getting soft goods as well. All of this is attached, so I think either the jeans are stitched to the shirt or it's glued to the shirt, because when you move it around, the only thing that's moving is the belt. So that can be moved up and down and stuff like that, but Logan here has got some fucking mom jeans. Like, he has got the mom jeans going on there. So that is that's what he's got going on there. I think it's cool they actually stitched some pockets back here. That's cool. And then the t-shirt is cool too, the wife beater. I like that too, because that's a very Logan thing. Is that he always wears the wife beater and some jeans and some cowboy boots, because that is how he rolls. That's how Logan rolls. So I do really like the way that you know, the painting and the sculpting turned out on him. Really good, no QC issues, so that's a plus. And with that being said, we are now going to take a look at his accessories. Okay, now we're going to look at his accessories. So Logan comes with 2 alternative heads, 2 extra sets of hands. He comes with his leather jacket, and then he comes with his dog tags, and then his stand. But I don't really use the Mezco stands. I prefer the import stands, like the Figma stands, and my 2 go-to stands are my Revoltech stands and my Mafex stands. So the Mezco ones just stay in there, and in the box, and I don't use them. So sorry that I didn't put them out. I just didn't think it was an essential accessory to really cover, because pretty much all the Mezco stands are the same. Just the detail on the stand itself is different. So I think we'll cover the heads first. So out of the box, you get this head right here, which is the Cowboy Logan, head, then you get the more pissed off grinning face, which to me it doesn't look like a grinning face. It looks like, I don't know, he has to take a shit or something. Like, this is the I have to take a shit Wolverine face. It's like everything is okay, but the mouth, the way they sculpted his mouth, I don't really like the way that that looks. So that is kind of a downside with this, is I don't like the way that that head's sculpted, but at least in terms of the mouth. And then of course you get the patch head, which Allende was able to explain to me what this was, so thank you, Allende. Essentially this was his kind of alter ego when the hand was looking to kill him, so he just put on an eye patch and became Patch O'Malley, I think was his name. Or it might have been Patch something, but I know it was Patch. And yeah, this one I like because you get the 5 o'clock shadow. Drop the head. You get the 5 o'clock shadow effect on the beard underneath the chin, or I guess around the chin. And see, had they just sculpted another one of these heads without the eye patch, I would have been okay with it, because I would have had a Logan head without the eye patch and I could have used it there. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of, I don't know, these two alternative heads. I like this one, and sometimes I'll use this one since it's kind of a fighting face, but I don't think I'll ever use this patch head. So it's kind of a shame that they didn't just do a patch figure instead of just giving us that, but what can you do? So you do get a couple of extra hands. You get this one, which I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Like, it's a palm strike hand, but to me this would be like his smoking hand if he came with a cigar, which he doesn't come with a cigar, which I don't understand, because this is a collectible figure that's not meant for kids, it's meant for adults. So I think if we're dealing with adult collectors, we should be getting, you know, the cigar with Logan, but we don't, which is a shame. I think he can actually hold, he probably hold a can of soda. Let's see. See, I always have these, what's it called, props near me, just in case. So yeah, he can hold the can of soda with it, so that's cool. So if you had any beer cans, you could probably have him holding that, so that's cool. You have this hand here, which for me, I use this as his like hat tipping hand, or like grabbing the rim of his cowboy hat. In the same situation with McCree, where he came with a hat tipping hand. Hang on, I got his hand on his 6-shooter. Come on now, McCree. You're making me look bad. Let's see. Gotta try to. Oh, boo. It's not wanting to try to do this the best that I can, but it's wanting to fight me. This arm is wanting to fight me. Yeah, there you go. It's like probably the best that I could do it. It's like, basically, you get the point where it's like him kind of grabbing the rim of his hat. There you go. Yeah, so, you know, his joint here in his arm is terrible, and it wants to keep fighting me, and I don't appreciate that. But yeah, that's what I will use that hand for. And then of course he comes with his, we're gonna get back down here again, sorry. And then of course he comes with his claws popped out, a set of hands with the claws popped out. You'll notice there's no like blood or anything on these, just because this is not the Old Man Logan one, and his claws are more cleaner, where I think on the Old Man Logan one his claws are a little bit more dirtier and stuff. I do like these though, they're cool. They're kind of the more pliable material, and these actually look better than the Hasbro ones. The Hasbro ones look too thin and they kind of look like shit. These ones look like Wolverine's actual claws, his adamantium claws. So I am happy with those hands. I think they're cool. Now the jacket is pretty cool too, but I'm gonna wait to kind of talk about that last, because I wanted to talk about one of the cooler accessories that I don't think we've ever gotten with a Logan, and that's his dog tags here, which I'm going to take off of his neck. So let me pop his head off real quick. And then we'll talk about that. Because I think this was really cool, and I didn't even notice he came with these until I saw a couple of reviews. So try straightening this out here. Okay, there we go. So this is his dog tags. They're pretty cool because they're actually detailed. What I mean by they're detailed is there's a very, very small, and I don't even know if my camera's gonna be able to pick this up. Like, I really gotta zoom in just to show you how small this is. You see? Yeah, see, it's not wanting to, it's slightly picking it up. But I mean, it is so small, my camera will not, it refuses to pick it up. What it's saying. Come on. You see, like, I gotta play with the camera to be able to get it to show you what it's saying. But I was gonna try to read it through the camera, but it does say James Howlett. It has his birth date set as November, or no, it says 161/13/1974. No, 161/11/1974. So I think that's supposed to be November 16th, 1974, and it says type A. So it even has his blood type on it. I think it's weird though that it says 1974, because, you know, if you're, you know, a comic book reader, you know that Logan's way, way older than 1974. I mean, he's fought in almost every single, war. I think the exception has been, I don't think he fought in the more recent wars, I think. But I think up until the Cold War, I think, is what he's fought in. But something that's cool is you can actually have him palm the dog tags, which I think is cool. So you can have him holding it like that, or if you want him to actually hold it from the, what's it called? Sorry, my hands are in the way. Hang on real quick. I'm trying to get it to like sit in his hand, so then I can show you. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. So yeah, he could like hold it and read it in his hand, so that's cool. So yeah, we covered his hands, the heads, the dog tags, now the jacket. I think this is different from the Cyclops jacket that they gave him. He does have the zipper on it, but I haven't messed around with that zipper because pretty much once you unzip these, it's better to just keep it that way, or if you're going to keep it zipped up and not use it, then just keep it like that, because if you keep zipping it up and down, you're going to break this little zipper and then you're fucked. So it's either leave it zipped down or leave it zipped up. I'm going to leave it zipped down because I plan on taking it on and off for pictures. And then to basically put the jacket on, you're going to pop his hands off, and then you're going to just slide his arms through the jacket sleeves, and yeah, and then it's going to sit kind of snug on there, and then you could kind of play around with it before you put the hands back on and get it set the way that you want it to look. Then you just pop his hands back on, and you're good to go. And that's what that looks like. So I like it. I think it looks really good, the jacket. It's kind of a pleather material on the outside, and then on the inside it's more of a softer material. I'm sure that's exactly how the other jackets and stuff like that are. But yeah, that's pretty much it for his accessories. I know this was a longer section, but I really had to go into detail with that stuff and let you know, and show you what it is that he comes with. And with that being said, we're going to go into his articulation. Okay, so I took the jacket off again, just so that I could show you in full detail his articulation, and that way nothing gets hindered. So with that being said, let's cover his articulation. So his neck is on a double ball joint, so you're getting movement up here in the neck, up here, and you're getting movement down here. So in terms of his ability to look down, he can look down that far, he can look up this far, you can look side to side. So you have some sass in the head up here, and then you have more movement down there. His arms can rotate 360, and they can go up this far. You can push it a little bit more. I'd say that's probably about a good stopping point. And then they can go that far down, and he also has the butterfly joints in his arms, so he can move his arm forward this much, and he can move it back that much. So you get a little bit of butterfly joints in there. It is still tight on mine just because I don't really pose this guy that much because he is a very expensive figure. Bicep swivel, you get double jointed elbows that bend up that much right there. Now in terms of the wrist, he does have a ball joint in the wrist, so you're getting movement in here, you're getting movement in the actual wrist there, and then you can move it up and down to get the roll the dice, or you can rotate that whole joint and get it side to side here. So there is that. In terms of his articulation in his waist, he is on a double ball joint, so he can crunch forward this much, he can crunch back this much, he can move side to side there. There's no, well, there's a little bit of waist swivel, but again, because this is this is stitched to this, the pants, you're not getting that much movement. So in terms of his leg articulation, he can move up this much, he can move his legs back this much, he can do the splits about this much, he has a thigh, yeah, you get a thigh swivel in there, you have double jointed knees, you have the, he can move his foot back that much, move his foot forward that much, and he does have ankle rocker in there. So that is his articulation. Now, I know that we usually do, you know, if he can do a what's it called? A roundhouse kick, but I don't think Logan is the type of person to do roundhouse kicks, but we can certainly try. Yeah, he can do a roundhouse kick. It's funny because in the time it took me to do to get Donald Cerrone to do the roundhouse kick, I could have did like the roundhouse kick probably 5 times, maybe more than that, in the span that it took me to do that. But I mean, that's pretty good. You can't do the sickle foot though because of his articulation in the cowboy boots, but it's understandable why he doesn't have that much articulation in the cowboy boots anyway, because if you've ever worn cowboy boots, your articulation, or I guess your movement in your feet, are real limited because of the way that they're set up. They're more meant to give you more stability and not so much movement in your legs, or in your feet, I should say, so that's okay. It is still cool though that you can do the roundhouse kick like that, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now it's time to get into the final thoughts and some size comparisons as I talk about my final thoughts on the figure. Okay, so my final thoughts on the Mezco 1/12 scale Cowboy Logan is this. I think overall he's a really solid figure, especially for Mezcos, because usually the Mezcos are hit or miss. For this Logan, I think he's probably one of the better Mezco figures that they've done. The cowboy hat is really cool. I think the dog tags are a really cool accessory, and the fact that they even went and did the little information on the dog tags is pretty cool. One of the issues that I had though was that he didn't come with a cigar. I mean, I know that I believe Ayende was explaining this to me when we had one of our sit downs, was that because of Marvel's rule that none of their characters can be portrayed with any tobacco products or alcohol or anything like that, they're not allowed to give him a cigar, which is strange because if we go back about 20 or 30 years back, I'll probably say about 20 years back, there were characters being drawn and portrayed in the comics with, you know, cigars. You know, you had the Punisher with cigarettes, you had Logan with his cigars, you had people drinking. So I don't know why it's an issue now, especially with a Mezco figure, because no kid is gonna have a Mezco figure. These are strictly for adults. Because obviously no kid is gonna save up $80 for a Mezco figure, and that's ridiculous. So I don't know why they couldn't just give him, you know, one of the faces with a cigar, or just put the cigar accessory in there. I mean, it's not really a big deal because these are aimed towards adults and not so much kids, but you know, apparently there's an issue with that, so whatever. But overall, I think he's a really solid figure, and he is, yeah, he's by far my favorite Logan figure, especially since he's an out-of-costume Logan, so I can get him with more shots with some other characters that I have, and he looks really good with some of his X-Men teammates. So yeah, that is it for me on this review. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you to Zorpox for the patience, and that's going to do it for me. So thank you very much for watching, and Action Figure Addict 112 out.
Here comes a new challenger.